The NBA trade deadline is supposed to be a time of chaos. For a lot of fans, it's their favorite time of the year because there are reports flying everywhere, constantly, left and right. Fans are thinking like, oh, how would this player look on this team? And how would this player look on this team? And it's just a time of a lot of speculation and a lot of excitement. But this year, it's not real chaos. It's manufactured chaos. Chaos powered by one dude who's not even doing anything. Giannis Antetokounmpo has said multiple times that he is not asking out of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee has reported multiple times that they are looking to try and build a championship roster around Giannis instead of getting rid of him. But the worst part is these rumors aren't just getting annoying, they're ruining the entire trade deadline for everyone else. But very quickly before we get into this video, if you guys enjoy this type of content, all things NBA, make sure to smash that like button. And if you guys want to stick around in my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers, trying to get monetized here on YouTube. And so every single subscription means so much to me right now. Lastly, make sure to comment down below, are we going to see Giannis get traded by the trade deadline on Thursday? Or is he staying put in Milwaukee until, further notice? But with all that out of the way, let's talk hoops. So today I want to talk about how the Giannis trade rumor machine has completely hijacked this year's NBA trade deadline. Not because Giannis is actually available or because the Bucks are actually considering getting rid of him, but because the mere idea of Giannis actually being available has every other team frozen. Teams aren't making moves, and front offices are stalling, and fans are starting to get a little bit antsy, and I believe it is all because of trade rumors that are completely manufactured by the media right now. So why do I think that the media is doing this? Well, it's pretty obvious. Giannis is a content goldmine. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. He's a 2-time MVP. He's a 1-time champion. If you put Giannis and trade in the same sentence, the algorithm starts doing literal backflips for you. And the media knows this, and so they are constantly pushing out, new rumors about Giannis every day. I swear I wake up every morning seeing 3 new different reports, about Giannis. In the morning, it's Giannis wants out of Milwaukee. In the afternoon, it's Milwaukee is looking to get rid of him. And then in the evening, it's, actually, they're happy together. They're going to try and win together. And it's starting to get so annoying. Like, there's only so many times I can see the same reports day after day until my excitement stops and I just start being like, okay, is something gonna happen or is something not gonna happen? And I think this perfectly exemplifies in Shams' latest report about Giannis. So if you didn't see, a few days ago, Shams sent out this tweet that says, 2-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo is ready for a new home at the February 5th trade deadline or in the offseason as several rival teams make aggressive offers to the Milwaukee Bucks for him, and the franchise is starting to listen. Now, he frames this like Giannis is, ready for a new home or is requesting a trade, but if you look at any other Shams report, before this of a star who requests a trade, he lays it out very matter-of-factly. This player has requested a trade from this team. But on this one, again, he frames it like Giannis has requested a trade or is ready for a new home, but it's very obvious that he's grasping for straws here because he's not framing it the same way he frames every other trade request that a star, asks for. Just kind of adding fuel to the fire that I feel like these Giannis rumors are a lot less concrete and a lot less real than all these media personalities are making it seem like. And so how is this ruining the deadline? Well, a lot of reports have come out that multiple teams are holding off on making other trades that they need to make, waiting to, to know if Giannis is officially available or what. Not because they're actually close to a Giannis deal, but no team wants to be that team that trades for Jeremy Grant the day before Giannis officially asks out of Milwaukee. And so all these teams are holding on, waiting to see is this actually going to happen? And so, like, mid-tier trades aren't really happening. You know, we have gotten some movement in the last couple days for some other trades, but it's like DeAndre Hunter to the Kings, Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder to the Cavs. Okay. Vic Krejci to the Blazers and Duop Reith to the Hawks. If you're excited about that, whoa, dude, you must live a boring life. And that's legit all the movement that we've seen since the Trae Young trade a couple weeks ago. You know, everybody thought that Trae Young trade was going to be the initial domino that starts this trade deadline, and it turns out that was the climax. It's like the market is completely frozen right now. We've seen reports that, like, Miami is, like, waiting, you know, for Giannis. Maybe not even if it happens in this trade deadline. They're waiting till, like, the 2028 free agency when he becomes available. You know, that's when they're going to make a move. That's what they're building their team around. It's like, bro, you're building your team around a guy in 2 years that you don't even know if you're going to be able to sign in the first place. All these teams are so enamored with Giannis and the thought of getting Giannis on their team that they are completely halting their future and their development of their team in the next couple of years solely off the fact that, hey, he might be available. And that is just crazy to me. And again, it's ruining this trade deadline because it's turning it into one of the most boring deadlines we've seen in years. Personally, for me, I don't think Giannis is leaving by the end of the trade deadline. In a couple days, we could see if that changes. And if it does, I think that's ultra exciting. But the amount of conflicting reports that I see day in and day out just makes me believe that all of this stuff is just smoke and mirrors and it's not even real. You know, a great example of that is for the last week, I've seen so many reports that the Knicks are open to trading for Giannis and they're ready to get rid of Cat and, you know, add a guy like Anunoby or Mikal Bridges into the mix in order to get this deal done. And then today I see, yeah, the Knicks actually were never pursuing Giannis. They're happy with the team that they have right now. And so when you see that, it's like, bro, why should I care about any of these reports if in a couple days I'm just going to see a conflicting report? Not to mention, again, Giannis said that he's never going to request a trade. And so Milwaukee, in my opinion, just doesn't really have much of an incentive to get rid of him. A lot of the reasons why we see NBA teams eventually trade their superstars is because they request a trade and they refuse to play for that team. We saw it with Ben Simmons. He requested a trade and basically sat out that entire season until he got traded to the Nets. And Giannis is never going to do that. He's said multiple times how he's never going to do that. He's going to play with the team and the teammates that are around him. And so I just don't see why Milwaukee would make this trade unless, you know, they get one of the craziest offers you've ever seen. Other than that, it's like, let's just try and build around Giannis. Let's trade for other pieces to keep Giannis because we know we at least have this guy until his contract is up and then he can make a decision whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to go. And so we're seeing all these big market teams just hoarding all their assets for this trade, and it's going to get to a point if this thing doesn't happen where it's going to get too late for a lot of them and they're going to get stuck just not making a move and not bettering their team at the deadline. You know, I think of teams like the Heat who have great assets. Like, they have a great asset in Tyler Hero, you know, whose position and spot on the team has become kind of redundant now that Norman Powell is playing so good for the Miami Heat. And so it's like, bro, you have this asset that's redundant that you don't technically need, that you can trade and, you know, get a good return back for him. And instead you're like, no, we're waiting for Giannis. And it's like, if that doesn't happen, then the Heat are stuck in Eastern Conference purgatory like they are every year, where they're probably going to get a play-in spot and not have the team to make a deep run in the playoffs. They maybe could have made a deep run in the playoffs if they would have stopped having tunnel vision on this Giannis dream and actually just made trades that would help them in the future. I also think the Golden State Warriors, they've emerged as probably the biggest suitors for Giannis that we've seen based on reports, and all their other trade talks for all their other guys that, they were pursuing has completely ended. It doesn't look like they're going to get Michael Porter Jr., a guy who I think would help them more now, especially with Jimmy Butler out, than Giannis would, and they would have a lot less to give up for a guy like Michael Porter Jr. But, now because they're focused all on Giannis, they're just done with everything else. It's just like these teams are so enamored with this guy that I think a lot of them are making bad decisions by holding on to these assets and not making a move based on the small chance that, Giannis is gonna get traded and the Bucks are gonna like the package that they propose to them enough. So personally for me, I think these teams need to stop focusing on this one guy. Make the trades that are realistic, that you can make. Improve your roster like you're supposed to at the trade deadline, and stop waiting on this once-in-a-lifetime miracle to trade for this top 5 NBA player. And also, to the NBA media, it's never going to happen, but come on, guys. The amount of conflicting reports that I've seen over these last months is just getting exhausting. And it's so obvious that so many people are just putting out these reports for clicks when there's really no ground that any of them are substantiated on. You see one report and then you see another report from some other random guy that completely is the opposite of the one you just saw. It's so obvious that nobody actually knows what's going on, but they're just putting out anything because they know Giannis and trade in the same sentence is gonna get clicks. But personally, in my opinion, I'm so tired of seeing Giannis stuff every day, but not seeing actual movement when it comes to the trade deadline and these trade rumors. So yeah, personally, I think Giannis is not going to get traded at this deadline. I think every team is making a mistake solely focusing on him and not actually making realistic moves to improve their roster. It's not flashy, but it's a smart move to make, in my opinion. But yeah, with that being said, that's really all I got for this video. Again, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much. And also, if you guys made it this far, make sure to hit that like button on this video. And again, if you guys want to stick around, join me on the road to 1,000. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would very much appreciate you and would love to have you as a part of my community. And lastly, make sure to comment down below officially Thursday. Do you think Giannis is going to be traded before the deadline, or do you think the Bucks are going to hold off until maybe this offseason or maybe even farther into the future? And lastly, if you guys want to see more content from me, YouTube actually thinks you'll really like this video right here. So once this video is done, make sure to click on that. Check that video out. I am sure you will love it just as much as you love this video. With that being said, guys, as always, peace and love.